Hello, I'm Oscar, star of Land of Barry. For today's entry in the Advent calendar, we're doing something a little different and interviewing the creative driver behind the Land of Barry franchise, our director, Edward Gabriel Lomas.
Cheers for including my middle name.
You're welcome. Edward, thank you very much for joining us.
Hi, Ed.
I'm also here with Sir Barry Neville, established actor of stage and screen, and the illegitimate love child of Laurence Olivier. Shut up!
Well, I was just going to throw the sound off.
Edward, thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, what is up with that?
Edward, thank you very much for joining us. Can I continue my fucking interview now, please? Thank you. I have rage issues that I'm trying to control. I think our first question is, can you tell us how you joined the franchise all those years ago?
Well, I was really early to a meeting with Oscar.
He was 45 minutes late.
And we got chatting about films.
After a 45-minute wait.
It was 20 minutes.
It was 45.
And we just sort of were chatting about films, and then I think we tried to enter a competition for a film thing. And then
Doritos, Crush the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Team Salsa?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good vibes.
Yeah. So we tried to enter. What are you doing?
I don't trust him.
No.
I'm sorry, continue.
So yeah, we met as a team, and then we tried to enter this competition, and nothing really came of that. So.
So you say you would argue that was an utter failure?
I don't know about utter failure. One thing led to another.
Can we please move on?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Okay.
And then after Team Salsa, we then...
we formed the team, the Blanderberry team, and we made the first episode, and it went okay. And it was just something that we could do to practice, making films without planning huge features.
Excellent. So, Edward, may I call you Edward?
Yeah, good.
So, Eddie, baby, if you can please... I honestly couldn't care less. Could you please tell us your favourite and your worst moment filming Land of Barry so far?
So my favourite moment was when the first episode when Barry says to Oscar that he watches Game of Thrones, and he gets pushed out of the bed, and even though it was the shittest scene I've ever done, it was still just my favourite moment, I think.
Because Game of Thrones is shit. And your worst moment?
My worst moment is probably when we were in London, and there was a scene which was quite public where Oscar had to shout really loudly, and the local Londoners weren't too happy, and being the only one with a camera, I was the casualty of that.
So I think my next question is, many films today are directed by auteurs such as Quentin Tarantino, Christopher Nolan, and Uwe Boll, director of House of the Dead. And my question is, in a Barry film, how do you feel you bring a Lomas-esque style to it? What is your auteur sensibility on a Barry film?
The way I do things, I suppose.
Which is not very well.
It's a tricky question.
Well, just shut up and answer it.
I suppose I haven't really developed a thing, something that defines me as a filmmaker yet. But I think I try to sort of. That mic's getting quite close.
Try and sort of what?
Make. Thank you, Oscar. We try to use a lot of low light in the features that we do, especially in Traitor to the King, which is our next short.
And that's what I was going to come to. So please can you tell us the experience of both Traitor to the King and the feature-length adventure Hunt for MacGuffin's Gold, a little bit about the filming experience of both, what they're about and what the audience can expect, so why they should waste their time watching these appalling pieces of entertainment.
I mean, personally, I think that Traitor was probably my favourite shoot, because even though we did have trouble with a lot of the low light, which is, meant to be my thing. It did go reasonably well, and I think out of all of the films, why are you laughing? Out of all the films we've done, it was my favourite because we got to work with a new actor, which I feel you can introduce at some point. No, you can say anything about that.
I think Bruce Langley is a fine actor. I think if he works hard, he could be the Nicolas Cage of his generation.
That's a great aspiration.
So if
You
you
got Bruce.
if you could please tell us a little bit about what MacGuffin's Gold, the actual plot, and why people should watch it. In all seriousness now,
Okay.
because we need the money.
Well, MacGuffin's Gold follows the story of Oscar and Barry, who are looking for the hidden sacred gold of Sir Charles MacGuffin. They have to go from various locations in London, finding the maps and clues to the treasure location. And along the way, they encounter two unusual Russians who are looking to find a way to make some money for their leader, dubbed Vlad. And yeah, it's exciting.
So I think our final question, Edward, is what are you hoping for the future of Barry? Where do you see the franchise going after the release of Traitor and MacGuffin's Gold?
Well, I'd like to be able to do another sort of short film to feature length, which I think can demonstrate where we've come, like from the very beginning, the very first episode we did. I think you'd be able to notice the difference in quality compared to our first production.
Sir Barry Neville, esteemed star of stage and screen and illegitimate love child of Sir Laurence Olivier. Do you have
And
any?
a doctorate in physics.
Do you have any questions you would like to add, then, Doctor?
So what was your first
Thank you
impression
very
of
much.
Oscar and Barry?
My first impression of Oscar and Barry. Well, Barry is a great inspiration to me as a person, and he stands among the gods that I think are the greatest.
I would agree.
I'm glad you agree. Yeah.
If I were you, I would watch your fucking back for the rest of your life. That's all we have time for.
Thank you.
I'm Oscar Harding. Thank you very much, and have a Merry Christmas.